Fight world. Anyway, this is Josh Hart here, 4 seconds out. Delighted to be joined by Gareth A Davies. Gareth, here we are at a beautiful restaurant in London. Frank Warren has just treated us to some lovely food. He's expanded my taste buds massively today. But come on,
let's remember what was on the menu. Emperor fish sashimi.
I'm not going to.
Octopus.
I don't know the names.
Calamari, sea bass.
Sea bass was very nice.
Lamb chops, Greek salad.
Very nice food.
Oh, it was delicious, wasn't it? Absolutely very nice delicious.
Food. A lot of wine.
And I had the pleasure of your company to my right-hand side all
afternoon.
afternoon.
Absolutely. Well, let's dive into everything. It's been a lot has moved since we've last spoke.
Yeah,
I suppose
it's been a couple of weeks, hasn't it?
It has been a busy few weeks for everyone involved. First of all, I want to go straight into Deontay Wilder at the weekend. We saw his return on Friday night in a performance that I think is fair to say has had a lot of criticism from fight fans around the world. What were your thoughts on his comeback?
I'm ambivalent about him. I'm glass half full and glass half empty, because he got the victory. He's back in the win column. The punches are still there, but that explosive air of the bronze bomber, that dangerous, marauding, predatory figure, doesn't seem to be there anymore. Having said that, he's got back in the win column. He should have got rid of Tyrrell Herndon a lot quicker. Not a lot came back. He dominated, but he couldn't find the snap and the decisive punch to knock him out. And I know that's what he's renowned for. 43 out of 44 wins by stoppage. And obviously this was another stoppage, but it was a referee stoppage because there wasn't a lot coming back from Herndon. That said, I think he should have been calling out Anthony Joshua for a big fight. That's the fight I want to see him in. That's the fight I want Joshua to call out for. It's a fight that doesn't need a world title, doesn't need belts. It still sells a stadium here in the UK. Anthony Joshua's still mainstream. It's a great comeback fight for Anthony Joshua. So I just wanted him to make a statement on Friday night, as it was last week. He made a semi-statement rather than an exclamation full stop.
Do you think it was more of just a reminder that he is still in boxing, but what we needed was that I'm here to still take over and get back to the top?
He talked that game.
Yes.
But he didn't walk that game. That's the problem. And, you know, what has he got left? Probably not a lot. But he's got one big event left in him, and it should be against Anthony Joshua, in my view. It's a huge earner for both men. It's a commercial behemoth. It's not a who's going to win gets a world title next kind of fight. It's just one of those fights that we'll want to see in the era. A bit like when I was saying to Frank today, you know, do you not think, when you speak to Tyson Fury, who he spoke to 3 or 4 days ago, do you not think that Tyson Fury will regret not fighting Anthony Joshua if he looks back on it in a few years' time? And as he says, he doesn't want to leave it too long if he's going to do it, because the body gets older. These guys are all in their mid-30s. Deontay's nearly 40. Or he might even be 40 now. 39 maybe. But the time and tide wait for no man, we know that. It's an unforgiving sport in terms of age. So, you know, I mean, you're a young person in the sport. Does it resonate with you that Joshua and Wilder step into a ring together?
In what sense?
Would you watch it?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to think how long it's been spoke about for.
7 years.
Exactly. It's 7 years.
7 years ago, there was $50 million on the table for that fight.
And the thing is that I think there's still the one thing, the question that I kept asking, not just yourself but many people, is before we start getting all hyped up about Joshua versus Wilder, is we need to see Wilder's return first. We've seen that now.
Yeah.
Do you feel the interest is going to diminish a little bit based on what
they need to get on with it? He's ticked the box. Come on, guys, get on with it. Tick the box. Joshua's had his injuries healed. Get into camp. We're in early July. Get the fight signed. We know there's a big fight in the UK on September the 20th. We know there's a massive fight in Vegas on September the 13th. We know what they are. Crawford and Canelo. Then Benn and Eubank. Get it for late September or middle of October. Get it signed. Get it down. Get it down.
Well, you mentioned September 20th. I think it's only right we move on to that next. Benn Eubank 2 or Eubank Jr versus Benn 2 is official now. I remember when we spoke the day after the fight, you said you weren't interested in a rematch.
One and done, I said, didn't I?
Yeah. Do you still see it that way, or now that it's official and there might... It felt like the first fight had that perfect fairy tale ending with the arrival of Eubank Sr.
The drama, the 2.5 year build-up, Eggate, all of that drama.
In terms of maybe the fight will, but do you feel we can match what we had back on April 26th?
You feel that you can't because, you know, it felt like it's a fantasy fight that got made and was made possible because of the investment of Turkey Al Sheikh and the Saudi Arabians and Ring Magazine. It's being sponsored by Ring Magazine again. It's a really big event. It's a nostalgia event. It brings generations of people together. There's no doubt it's a big fight. It really delivered the first time. 2.5 year build-up, the drugs cases, the egg gate with the egg being smashed, the resonance of the father turning up or both fathers being involved, the way they treated the sons afterwards as well. The love fest that there was between the two families in terms of what the fathers brought afterwards, the respect levels, the delivery of the whole thing. It was I would say it's up there as one of the big nights I've ever been involved with. It just delivered. And my feeling was afterwards with Eubank Jr, chronically dehydrated, 36 hours in hospital. Now he's up in front of the stewards of the Boxing Board of Control for using a sauna suit and being flagrant about cutting weight. I knew there'd be a second fight because there's so much money involved in it. And when boxing makes big business, it always happens. They're both earned 10 million again. It's a big fight. I feel like the box has been ticked, that's all. The itch has been scratched. The nostalgia fight with the names, Benn and Eubank, the grudge between the two families, I feel like it's been resolved, unfortunately, or fortunately for some people. They'll probably go back to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, not confirmed there yet, there or Wembley, I assume. They'll go back there. Another 70,000 will come and say, I wasn't there the first time, but I want to see it again. I don't know if they'll be able to replicate or recover all the same drama that they did for the first fight, because it just felt perfect as it was, which you were alluding to just now. We'll see. We'll see.
What are your views on the fight being agreed with the exact same weight clauses, especially with you, like you mentioned just in your answer there about Eubank spending so much time in hospital after
chronically
the fight.
Dehydrated.
Exactly, chronically dehydrated.
That's serious.
And him also being the winner of the fight, you'd like to think that maybe he could have pushed a few more buttons to maybe get rid of that clause, but
he won't get that because Eddie Hearn and Conor Benn will stretch everything to the imagination to make it in favour of their guy. He's a much smaller man naturally. We saw that in the fight. We've seen that in the build-up. We know that there's weight divisions for a reason, and there's weight divisions for a reason. It's your headphones, bud.
Yes.
There's weight divisions for a reason, and they will try and give as many advantages as possible to Conor Benn, so they will make him weight drain again. My view, they should acquiesce to Chris Eubank's demands, allow him some more poundage. The Boxing Board of Control should be involved as well, and creating a mandate where he should not be put at risk. His father will be saying the same thing as he did the first time. I've even written a column on it saying we need to heed the words of Chris Eubank Sr, because it was an exhausting, gruelling fight that they had the first time, and I suspect it will be the same the second time. And I think it's a harder fight the second time around for Chris Eubank Jr, in my view, if he's going to have to cut the weight again.
Just one last one from me, because I know you do have to go and get your car at the parking.
Well, that's good for you to tell everyone.
Sorry about that, Gareth. No, Jake
You're
Paul,
such a detailist.
I just want to make people need to know I'm a good.
Why I run away from the interviews? I'm not trying to get away from you.
No, just one last one from me. Jake Paul returned at the weekend with a unanimous points decision win over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. A lot of criticism again on the fight, but also Jake Paul post-fight calling out both Anthony Joshua and Deontay Davis in the same sentence.
And Tommy Fury.
An interesting mix of three names that I didn't think we'd see with the same individual call out, but it is Jake Paul. We kind of know that he is a different type of star to the stars of our sport. What are your views on everything that went on?
I could see anyone fighting him, frankly, anyone, because he brings it when he fights, in terms of brings the numbers. This one went under the radar a little. I thought The word I used to describe it was turgid. It felt so weird for 8 rounds that Julio Cesar Chavez literally survived for 8 rounds and barely threw a punch, and then went out and dominated the last 2 rounds when Jake Paul was tiring, and he clearly won the last 2 rounds, but almost as if he decided he was going to fight after 8 rounds rather than any sooner in the fight. It was very, very odd. Doesn't surprise me who Jake Paul calls out, because everybody knows that it's a money fight for them. It's a cash cow. That's why Canelo had agreed to fight him, and he'd agreed to fight him. I know he was trying to push it to one side at the press conference in Las Vegas with Terence Crawford, but there is little doubt that he would have taken that fight. And it wouldn't even surprise me if Anthony Joshua took a fight with him, or Gervonta. But I back Gervonta Davis to beat him.
Absolutely. Just one thing you said. You said it didn't feel as big. Do you feel that was because it is off the back of the Mike Tyson highs?
Yeah, I mean, that was just an extraordinary event to be at. Again, talk about nostalgia events with Benn and Eubank. That was the ultimate nostalgia event with Mike Tyson, who, again, I believe played the game against Jake Paul at 56, 57 years old. Look, he's good for boxing in a sense, but he looked like a southern area champion in there on Saturday night against a guy who was hapless and was old and didn't really want to fight. And that's what it looked like.
Absolutely. Gareth, top man, really appreciate your time. I look forward to catching up again soon.
Always a pleasure, Josh Hart, for secondsout.com.